What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So last night, the Golden State Warriors beat the shit out of the Orlando Magic by the final score of 126 to 95 to improve their record to 20-4 on the season. All right, the Warriors, one of the best teams in the NBA. Steph Curry had 31 points and 8 assists. Notably, he hit 7 from deep, a few of them from as far away as Lima, Peru. Now, what was notable about last night's game was what he said after the game. I guess he was asked about his approaching Ray Allen's record because after the game, Steph Curry now has 2,958 career three-pointers. Ray Allen, of course, had 2,973. He was asked about the record. He said that uh, anything's possible. He hinted that potentially he could break the record in the next game. I believe they play Portland. Now, that would require him to hit 16 three-pointers, which, of course, would break the all-time record, which was set by his teammate, Klay Thompson, who should be back within a couple of weeks. He did it against my Chicago Bulls, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. 52-point game. He had 14 three-pointers, which broke his record. So, how do I feel about this? I tell you one damn thing, I'm not going to say he's not going to do it like Stephen A. Smith. I'm damn sure they're not going to say that. I'm not going to say that he can't do it. Is it likely? No. But I'm not going to say he cannot do it. First of all, he's going up against a team that is terrible defensively in the Portland Trailblazers. I mean, we just saw them give up 145 points to the Boston Celtics. So they're a terrible defensive team. And Curry has had a lot of great games individually against Portland. We've seen it in the regular season and we've seen it in the playoffs. So I'm not going to say that he can't do it. If he consciously go out to try to do it, I don't want him to hurt the team. I don't want him to go out there and do something that's going to be detrimental to the team, and and stagnate, the offense to an extent, or just he's forcing shots and he's messing up the flow of the game for the Warriors. I don't want him to do that. But if he goes out there with a little simple goal of 4 made threes a quarter, right? If he tries to do that, if he has one of those nights where it's all falling and he shoots the ball a little bit more than usual, if he shoots 30 something shots, you know, but he's shooting at a high percentage, upper 50s, making at least half his threes, one of those types of nights, he could do it. He'll score a bazillion goddamn points. I mean, shit, if he was to do that, I mean, think about it. 16 threes, that's 48 points from threes alone. So he would more than likely have a 60-point game. He could do it. I just don't know if he's going to try to do that. I think what's more likely is he's going to do it for the next 2 to 3 games. The next 2 to 3 games is probably more likely. Maybe 9 one game, maybe 7 another game. He could do that. He could do it the next 3 games. Maybe 6 in one game. Maybe 4 the next game. Which will leave him what 6 more to go. And then 6 in another game. He could do it like that. It's possible. It's going to probably fall for the next 3 games. But knowing Curry, he's probably want to get it over with. So it should be soon. Um, I'm gonna say this about Curry: if he were to do that in one game, it would be one of the greatest, not just one of the greatest individual performances, but it'd be one of the greatest clutch performances because he just, that he would be doing it to break a record. Okay, you can call it selfish all you want to, but he would be doing it just to break a record, to get it over with. And I know this guy isn't beloved in sports anymore, not after 2005, but or 2004, 2005. But I remember 1998, right, that home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Now remember, this is before you had all these sports packages where you could see all the games and stuff. So this game wasn't televised, so I listened to it on sports radio. And that weekend was the last weekend of the regular season. Both McGwire and Sosa had 65 home runs going into Saturday. Sosa struck first that Friday night. He hit number 66, and he took the lead. McGwire hit number 66 later on that night. Sosa wouldn't homer again for the rest of the weekend. On Saturday, McGwire hit 2 home runs, 67 and 68. I remember thinking, damn, this guy hit 68 home runs. And then you listen to the radio on Sunday. I didn't expect him to even play, but he played. He hit number 69, and then he hit number 70. That's one of the greatest clutch performances I've seen of anybody in a moment. You know what I'm saying? Stepping up and rising to the occasion and closing the door. And if Steph were to do something like that, that would be remarkable. I'm gonna say this one last thing about Steph Curry too. Um, Steph Curry has to have the confidence of a goddamn pootie tang or something, man. When he's shooting threes, man, because I mean, yeah, he can shoot threes in a traditional way, like catch and shoot, running off screens, uh, you know, off the dribble. But increasingly, we're seeing him shoot these 30, 35-foot bombs, right? And it lowers his percentage a little bit. But the shit I saw last night with him shooting the three, kind of like fading back and from 30, I mean, he shoots from these angles that it's unbelievable. Look, we had some guys back in the 80s and 90s that shot deep. They didn't have Curry's handles, but they could shoot from deep, and that would be Dan Marley, Chuck Person, someone like that, right? But uh, they didn't shoot the percentage that he did. I think Marley was 35.8% for his career from three. I think Chuck Person was like 36.2 or 36.4%, something like that. That's okay percentage for that era, but they weren't the they weren't the marksman that this guy is. I mean, it makes me believe that if he was just to shoot like regular threes, like behind the arc, and not all of these deep threes, he would probably be like at 46%, 47% every year from three. You know, the fact that he's the greatest volume 3-point shooter we've seen, or at least one of the greatest, because James Harden is right there too, but he doesn't shoot the percentages that Curry does. But when you consider the volume that Curry shoots and the percentage, he's the greatest 3-point shooter in history of the NBA. He's probably the greatest shooter overall. I'm still hesitant to say that because we have Kevin Durant playing. And Kevin Durant to me is a greater mid-range shooter. He's not as great a 3-point shooter as Curry, but he's great. And Durant is a guy that's 7 feet tall, and he can shoot from all over the court. So there are times. This is why I'm hesitant to say that he's the greatest shooter because Durant can shoot from all over the floor. You understand what I'm saying? So I understand Stephen A. Smith when he says that, but Durant could shoot from all over the floor, mid-range, three-pointer, paint, at a very high clip. Curry sometimes can be a little bit inconsistent in the mid-range, a little bit. Um, Larry Bird didn't shoot nearly the volume from threes that these guys do today, but 38% from three. He was a great mid-range shooter. He was a great scorer in the paint. He could score in the post, and he could score with his back to the basket and face you up, which is something that none of these other guys could do. So he's in the conversation. And you've had other guys that could shoot the rock too. So I don't know. It's just I don't know. I think there's a couple of candidates for greatest shooter ever, but Curry definitely. I don't have a problem with anybody that think that he's the greatest shooter ever. Another guy that was a great shooter too. He didn't shoot that many threes, but he was a great percentage. He shot well from three too. People forget about it. Steve Nash. Steve Nash, 49% from the floor, 42% from three, or 43% from three, over 90% from the foul line. So he's in that conversation. Mark Price, had not been for injuries, would be in this conversation as well. So I don't know, but tell me what you guys think.